Hello. On behalf of the South Asian Health Research Hub, I welcome you all to the premiere of our documentary Beyond the Body, funded by the Lawson Foundation and the Social Science and Humanities Research Council. My name is Anjali, and as a person of South Asian descent and the proud child of two Guyanese immigrants, I want to acknowledge the privilege I, and frankly so many others, have to be residing on the treaty lands and territories of the Mississauga of the Credit. This land was and will forever remain to be home to the Anishinaabe, the Huron-Wendat, the Haudenosaunee, the Ojibwe and the Chippewa, the Métis, the Inuit, and hundreds of other indigenous people who have and are living on this land now called the Toronto and Peel regions. For his monumental honor, I can do nothing but thank you. But I know this basic acknowledgement is a far cry from the respect you all rightfully deserve. So my journey with the South Asian Health Research Hub began 3 years ago as a participant in the South Asian Adolescent Diabetes Awareness Program. It was meant as a lifestyle intervention for us youth who have a family history of diabetes, but it actually led many of us on the path to become members of the Youth Health Advocacy Council, meant to break the systemic barriers in terms of diabetic treatment for people in the South Asian communities. Now, we invite you all to witness a documentary that crafts a compelling portrait of the lives of South Asian youth and hopefully inspire the audience to look at our lives with, a little more clarity and a little more compassion. Our host for tonight is Simran Singh, City Editor at the Vancouver Daily Hive. She will be joining our research team for a live Q&A once our documentary has finished. We also have a live chat, so should you have any comments or questions throughout the evening, please feel free to write them in that. As well, you can also tweet about this event using the hashtag #BeyondTheBody. Now, on behalf of the South Asian Health Research Hub, the participants, the volunteers, and all the amazing people who made this possible, I invite you on a journey to discover the many ways in which our help goes far beyond the body.
When people think about why our community has such high rates of diabetes, they instantly blame our food and our diet, our physical activity levels, not realizing there's so much more to it.
Peel Region, located in the Greater Toronto Area, consists of Mississauga, Brampton, and Caledon. Peel is widely celebrated for its rich cultural, religious, and ethnic diversity, in part shaped by a recent history of migration. With its growing immigrant population, Peel is now home to over 1/5 of Canada's South Asian diaspora. Peel also has one of the highest rates of diabetes in the country, and the South Asian community in particular faces the greatest risk. So this begs the question, why is this the case? Why is the South Asian community disproportionately impacted by diabetes? A team of researchers from the University of Toronto's South Asian Adolescent Diabetes Awareness Program, better known as SADAP, implemented the Beyond the Body Photo Voice project in the region of Peel. This project directly targeted the next generation being impacted by type 2 diabetes due to their family history. Using photography as a medium for storytelling, 9 South Asian youth showcased their unique lived experiences of diabetes risk using a new lens.
Our story of health is a story of migration, a journey that begins with our parents.
Most immigrants do come here for a better life. For example, my dad, he came here for a better life, to give us a better education, a better environment to live in. And he came here with nothing, almost nothing.
When my mom first came here, it was all very new to her. She did feel the pressure, she did feel a little stress, but she had to walk through the airport alone to catch a flight to Canada.
My mom would work night shifts at the Tim Hortons across the street. She would literally come home in the middle of the night just to go see my sister during her 15-minute breaks.
I try to imagine myself doing that and going to a completely new place, and I can't. I just can't. I would just think of it, and the slight idea just makes me go oh my god, that's too much.
Back home in Pakistan, my mom, she had her certifications and she was a licensed dietitian. But over here, when she moved here, her credentials weren't matched. So she had to go back to school.
My dad would he would work a full-time job, and he's an accountant. So it would be a 9 to 5 job every day. And then he had night classes. And then, on the weekends, he would just do his homework.
I remember how hard it was for him to come here because he had qualifications, in fact, great qualifications, but it didn't really apply. And he had to work at a gas station for such a long time.
I don't think that a lot of immigrants choose to go back to school. I think that they choose to work these odd jobs because it's easier. Because when you come to a foreign country, you don't have the funds to, go to university or go to college. You have to pay bills, you have to pay rent, groceries. There's so many other factors or other things that you have to think about. And getting a degree or getting a diploma and becoming certified isn't one of them.
When we look at diabetes rates amongst South Asians, it's really easy for people to blame our eating and exercise habits. But as immigrants, a healthy lifestyle isn't always a choice. Someone working a precarious job or working double shifts isn't going to have the time and energy. They're not going to have the money to afford safe, healthy neighborhoods and gyms or the best quality foods. The stress of these things is so substantial, of course it's going to affect the health of our communities.
Part of understanding the health of South Asian is recognizing that there is an unequal playing field.
Since I come from an immigrant family, to them education and having a stable career is important, as they left everything behind in order for us to have a better future.
This big pressure to do really well and have a good future is actually really common in the South Asian community. And I think a lot of this comes from the fact that minority groups like South Asians have to work twice as hard to get equal opportunities. So doing well in school isn't a missed source of stress because it's not just for myself, it's also for my family.
I'm the eldest child, and I'm the one because I have to get good marks and good grades for a good university, and if I get to a good university, only then I'll get a good job and kind of support my family. So for me, it's a really big pressure.
Being the perfect role model for my sister, that comes with showing that I can manage my time perfectly, help my family out at home while also doing good in school. That responsibility can get overwhelming, and the expectations sometimes get really unrealistic. And it's not just in my family. I feel like it really normal, I guess, in the South Asian community to just be really dependent on the daughters of the family.
Even for summer, I have to get started ahead of my class so I can keep up to all the topics and understand everything fully, and that requires a lot of time. I can't really focus on my health. Even for dinner, there are usually times I just eat dinner really fast. I don't see if I'm hungry or I need more. I just go and I don't see what my mom made. I just eat it, and these factors really affect my life because I really wanna get a good job and support my family.
The societal and cultural expectations put on us to excel, establish ourselves, and do something for our families are a chronic source of stress. You don't always have a choice to back out of the responsibilities expected of you, so our community faces this really unique challenge of having to negotiate between time and health. Often meals are missed, sleep is overlooked, exercise is neglected, and health is compromised, which all plays into the diabetes risk.
The environments around us don't just exist. They're planned and designed, but not always with health in mind.
I live in Heartland, Mississauga, and the thing I love about living here is that there are so many nice trails and green spaces. What I've been doing all summer is just walking around with my friends on all the trails that are close by, and at night my family and I like to go biking. We have a bunch of grocery stores and other stores around our area, which makes it super easy to shop for healthy foods that are also very affordable.
I live in Brampton, so over here, everything's more close by. You can go for 5 minutes, you can go to a gas station, Walmart, or anywhere you want.
That's a privilege for me and my family, but not all neighborhoods are designed that way, and not all immigrants are able to experience that. The way that the environment around you is designed makes a difference to how healthy you can be.
In a lot of ways, school affects both our health and our healthy behaviors.
In my school's cafeteria, they have unhealthy options like pizza and poutine that were very cheap. And then they had the healthy options, which were quite more expensive.
When a lot of us compare what we get at our school's cafeteria, honestly, it doesn't seem worth it when you compare that to what we could get at a fast food restaurant. Food swamps are one of the biggest challenges facing suburban communities in the Peel region. It's not that there isn't food, it's actually the opposite. There's too much food. However, healthy food is rarely, if ever, accessible. And it's not just healthy food that's inaccessible either. For each 20 fast food restaurants, there's only one gym within a 10-mile radius, only one park, only one community center half an hour away.
For me, from my high school, I wasn't really able to try out for sports teams because they were either really early in the morning or after school, and in Bolton they don't have public transit, so I couldn't get there myself. The fitness club also didn't have teacher supervision, so as a woman it made me really uncomfortable.
People don't realize that diseases aren't just genetics. It's these environments, these streets we live in, the places we learn and grow that can be the knife's edge between who's healthy and who's not.
When it comes to understanding diabetes rates among South Asians in Canada, we must look beyond factors such as choosing a healthier diet and staying active. We must consider the social determinants of health, which are the social, political, and economic forces around us that we cannot control but still impact our health. These include factors such as migration, gender, income, and discrimination, to name a few.
In this project, we use photo voice to photograph our communities and our lives, so that way we could share a message with others about the determinants of South Asian health.
There are so many misleading stereotypes about why South Asians have diabetes. Usually, the number one stereotype being that we eat unhealthy, high-sugar foods and sweets. Not only is that untrue, but it's really harmful because it overlooks the bigger pieces that shape our experiences.
South Asians don't get diabetes simply because of our lifestyle. Each individual faces different challenges, and health professionals should treat patients in accordance to that rather than simply lumping all South Asians together.
Through the photo voice exhibit, I wanted to show that it's not entirely our fault if we're not eating as healthy as we want, or exercising enough, or practicing self-care enough. Rather, there's a lot of external factors that can affect how much we can do that. And that is not our fault. And in fact, it's the larger institutions around us that need fixing.
You can't always blame every health-related problem on your culture. There are actually many factors around you to be considered before looking after your health. Everything you do has to be done considering your needs and resources, but sometimes things are totally out of control. So it's important not to feel guilty.
You know, my mother has diabetes. She was healthy, but yet she still got diabetes due to the stress, culture shock, the food, the new environment change. Everything affects that. It accumulates. It accumulates from time. Because what happens is, when you're so stressed out and you're overworked, sometimes your body just can't take it. And we all need to accept it. Through my photos, I want to tell people that no matter what happens, no matter what struggles you go through, you're not alone.
In the effort to actively tackle diabetes risk among South Asians and equity-seeking groups, the South Asian Health Research Hub urges members of government, academia, healthcare, social service agencies, and school boards to consider the following calls to action. Number 1, restructure diabetes education programs by incorporating a social determinants of health framework, which shifts the blame away from the South Asian community, and create interventions that are equitable, culturally safe, and community-informed. Number 2, Adopt a health in all policies framework to create incentives that encourage availability of healthy food options, target food swamps, and enhance equitable access to physical activity programs for all genders at the school and community level. Number 3, strengthen employment equity legislation. Establish a streamlined review process to credential internationally trained professionals, and unionize precarious jobs in Peel Region to eliminate socioeconomic disparities. And number 4, scale the South Asian Adolescent Diabetes Awareness Program across the Greater Toronto Area to amplify prevention efforts and break the intergenerational cycle of diabetes.